start with Mr. Reich. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, my subcommittee on human resources will be holding a hearing next week on unemployment insurance. And so I want to focus on, I have one question related to unemployment insurance, but also want to use it as an example of a comment that you made earlier that people, including corporations and small businesses, are confused about the budget and our process here, and also sort of a lack of understanding as to really what's going on.
That's probably something we can all agree on.
Yeah, I think you're right, including myself. So I have two documents. This is, I guess, part of what really creates a little bit of confusion. First, a document from the White House, and then I have a document from the Department of Treasury. And these seem to be in conflict to me. So the President's budget has a proposal that would more than double the wage base on which federal unemployment taxes are applied, from $7,000 to $15,000, correct?
Correct.
All told, as displayed in your budget documents, this would increase revenue by $51 billion over 10 years. I note that these tax increases would take the form of higher federal and state payroll taxes, which, in my opinion, are taxes on jobs. My question is this. Why do you think a summary document prepared by the White House says that same policy strengthening the solvency of the unemployment insurance trust fund reduces spending by $50 billion? Can you clarify this discrepancy and this sort of conflict for myself, the rest of the folks here in the room, and the people?
Congressman, I would have to take a look at those two charts. I don't want to pretend to be familiar with the comparison, and I couldn't read it from this distance. The policy on unemployment insurance is one the administration has advocated for a number of years. It would really restore the base for the unemployment tax to where it was in the Reagan years, just adjusting it for inflation.
So
that's the essential
excuse me
policy.
just for a moment. So the $7,000 to $15,000 increase, is that a tax hike?
Well,
then, or
the rate
is that a spending reduction?
The rate doesn't.
Forget what this says. What's your opinion?
The rate doesn't change. What it does is it puts in place. Right now we have an unemployment.
Does it increase
system.
Taxes? Yes or no?
Well, it increases the base of income.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going. So I just want a yes or no. Does it increase taxes?
It pays for an unemployment program that's not now properly funded, and I think the reason for the confusion
by increasing taxes.
It raises the base to the Reagan levels.
Increasing taxes, but the White House is saying it's reducing spending.
Yeah,
so I'm confused.
The categorization of some of these issues has been.
So I can look forward to an answer that would clarify this for me.
I'm happy to get back.
Okay. Can I want to move on to, you have used the term fiscal house in order several times here today. What does that mean to you, getting our fiscal house in order? Briefly, please.
Congressman, I think that the challenge we face is to get our budget on a path to having the deficit and the debt as a percentage of our economy at a point where it is sustainable, which means the economy is growing faster and we're not.
What percentage would you say that would be? You
know, our budget gets the deficit to less than 2% of GDP in the 10th year. Our goal originally was 3%. So
but your budget doesn't balance.
You asked me a different question. You asked what
does the balance?
Yeah.
But does it?
No, it does balance in and out year, not in the 10-year window. It quite a ways out. The challenge of balancing the budget.
The budget does not balance within 10 years.
No,
is that correct?
We have the deficit is.
Can you explain to me?
I
want to be in a learning mode, just like my friend from Ohio. Can you explain to me and the folks around the country why it's so important for families to balance their checkbook, balance their budget? They didn't see a deficit, an emergency ahead, but they lost their homes. Right. But the federal government doesn't have to balance their budget. They can continue to spend, and you don't see an emergency down the road with the deficit?
Congressman,
I don't understand. People are trying to understand this at home.
Congressman, as I said in my opening remarks, I spent a big part of my career balancing the budget, creating a surplus. I understand how important a balanced budget and a surplus is. I also know that in the period before President Obama took office,
why is it important, though, for folks at home to balance their budget? Excuse me. Why is it important for people at home to balance their budget but it's not important for the federal government to balance their budget.
Now, I can't
That's
give
what
you-
people don't understand, sir.
Families and
My
government.
time has expired. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.